Starbucks sells a drink that costs cents to make for the price of a full meal in some countries, and somehow billions of people keep buying it. Not because of the coffee, not even because it tastes good. Starbucks mastered something far more profitable: loneliness, identity, routine, status. And while customers believed they were buying comfort in a paper cup, Starbucks was quietly building one of the most psychologically engineered consumer machines on earth, because Starbucks never competed in the coffee business. It competed in human behavior. The company studied how people move, how they socialize, how they cope with stress, how they perform status in public. Then it turned those behaviors into recurring revenue. Every green cup became a signal, a ritual, a tiny emotional subscription, and the craziest part, the product itself was never the real asset. The real asset was controlling physical space inside modern cities. This is the story of how Starbucks transformed caffeine into a global psychological ecosystem, and why millions of people unknowingly built their daily lives around it. Coffee was already addictive. Starbucks simply industrialized the addiction. Before Starbucks exploded in America, coffee was functional, cheap, fast, disposable. Then Starbucks changed the script. Howard Schultz didn't want to sell drinks. He wanted to import something he saw in Italy: the cafe as a lifestyle, a third place, not home, not work, something in between. It sounded warm, human, almost philosophical, but financially, it was genius. Because if you can become part of someone's routine, you stop being a product, you become infrastructure, and infrastructure gets paid every single day. Then Starbucks discovered something terrifyingly profitable. People will massively overpay for products that make them feel upgraded. A normal coffee, worth maybe $1, but rename it, resize it, wrap it in Italian words, add atmosphere, music, lighting, branding, identity. Suddenly the same caffeine becomes a premium experience. Not coffee, performance. The cup became social proof. Walking through the city with a Starbucks cup silently communicated something. I'm productive. I'm modern. I'm busy. I belong here. Starbucks didn't create coffee culture. It monetized aspiration, but aspiration alone doesn't create a $100+ billion empire. Habit does, and Starbucks became obsessed with behavioral psychology. The locations were strategic, near offices, transit stations, universities, airports. Everywhere stress existed, Starbucks appeared, not randomly, scientifically, because exhausted people don't make rational decisions. They make automatic ones: morning fatigue, commute anxiety, work pressure. Starbucks inserted itself directly into those emotional moments. Over time, the brain stopped asking, "Do I want Starbucks?" and started asking, "Why don't I have Starbucks yet?" Then came personalization, names on cups, custom drinks, endless modifications. It looked harmless, but psychologically, it was brilliant. The more customized a product becomes, the more emotionally attached consumers feel to it. Your drink wasn't just coffee anymore. It was your drink. Extra oat milk, 2 pumps vanilla, light ice, no foam. Identity disguised as consumption, and once consumption becomes identity, people defend it emotionally, even when prices explode. Then Starbucks discovered the most powerful trick in modern capitalism: real estate. The company's real superpower wasn't coffee beans, it was location dominance. Starbucks flooded cities with stores so aggressively as that competitors suffocated. Sometimes multiple Starbucks appeared on the same street. Why? Because visibility creates perceived inevitability. If consumers see your logo everywhere, their brain assumes this must be the standard. It's psychological colonization. The brand becomes part of the environment itself, like traffic lights, banks, airports, permanent, and every store served another purpose. Data collection, what people buy, when they buy, how weather changes orders, how music affects spending, how seating affects customer retention. Starbucks became part cafe, part behavioral laboratory. Its mobile app pushed things even further. Rewards, points, notifications, gamified purchases. The company transformed caffeine into a digital habit loop, not unlike social media. Open app, get reward, repeat behavior, again, again, again. At some point, Starbucks stopped selling coffee entirely. It started selling emotional theater. The stores were designed to feel safe, predictable, controlled. No matter where you were in the world, Tokyo, London, New York, Dubai, Starbucks felt familiar. That consistency became addictive in an increasingly chaotic world. Especially for young professionals, especially for lonely people, especially for people desperate to feel productive. The cafe became a stage set for modern identity. Laptop open, AirPods in, coffee cup visible. And social media amplified everything. Starbucks drinks became content. Seasonal launches turned into global events. Pumpkin spice latte wasn't just a beverage, it was cultural programming. Limited time products trigger fear of missing out. Scarcity increases emotional urgency. Urgency increases spending. Consumers weren't buying flavor anymore. They were buying participation. Participation in trends. Participation in identity. Participation in internet culture. Starbucks figured out something terrifying. People don't want products. They want belonging, but eventually the illusion started cracking because the third place was never really built for community. It was built for throughput. Faster orders, higher margins, more transactions per hour. Stores became crowded, workers burned out. Customers rushed in and out like factory traffic. The cozy cafe fantasy slowly transformed into an assembly line. And then came inflation. Prices climbed, portions shrank, wait times exploded. People started asking a dangerous question: why am I paying luxury prices for industrial coffee? Then another problem appeared. Workers began unionizing. That terrified Wall Street because Starbucks depended on a carefully maintained image: friendly, ethical, progressive. But behind the branding, employees described exhaustion, pressure, understaffing, and surveillance. Suddenly, the company selling warmth and connection looked coldly corporate. The mask slipped, and investors realized something uncomfortable. The Starbucks model only works when human labor operates at machine efficiency. Now Starbucks is evolving again, and this next version may be even more unsettling. AI-driven recommendations, predictive ordering, cashless ecosystems, algorithmic personalization. The company wants to know what you'll order before you do. Why? Because prediction is the ultimate form of consumer control. The less you consciously decide, the more profitable you become. And Starbucks isn't alone. Every major brand is racing toward the same future, a world where algorithms shape consumption automatically. No friction, no pauses, no reflection, just optimized behavioral loops. And that's the real story of Starbucks. Not coffee, control. Control over routine, control over space, control over emotion, control over identity. The company mastered something bigger than retail. It mastered psychological dependency disguised as lifestyle. And maybe that's why Starbucks became one of the most powerful brands on earth. Because modern consumers don't just buy products anymore. They buy relief. Relief from loneliness, relief from chaos, relief from uncertainty, even if it comes in a paper cup that costs $8. Starbucks understood something most companies never fully grasped. The most profitable product in capitalism is human emotion. And in the future, the companies that win won't necessarily make the best products. They'll make the best psychological systems. Systems that shape habits, systems that predict behavior, systems that quietly become impossible to live without. Because once a brand becomes part of your identity, you stop consuming it, and it starts consuming you.